The day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, when everything broke loose like from hell, there was one man that shouted something from the crowd that seemed to catch everybody by surprise as he was subdued. Now, this man says, I shot him. Now shoot me. This individual has since been brought up on charges for obstruction of justice. However, he is claiming that the reason he did it was to try and give the real suspect a chance to escape. Now, there are multiple questions happening here. One, was he in the crowd specifically to hate on Charles, or was he in the crowd with the help of the person that did the actual shooting? Now, if he was there just to specifically hate on Charlie Kirk, then I can kind of see him doing that, just all of a sudden shouting that I'm the one, because he said, I shot him, I shot. Why would you say that in an effort to give somebody else a chance to run away? That doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense unless you knew that the person had the opportunity and wasn't anywhere near the location for him to run away. That's the biggest question we have at this point. Now, you all understand that the person, Tyler Robinson, is the one who's been arrested, and he has since been brought into the court to try and decipher why and when and how he did it and all the details and all of that stuff. However, this particular individual, Mr. Zinn, has kind of caught headlines a little bit simply because of that statement. I wanted to make sure that the shooter got away. And this man is 71 years old. Okay, hear me out. 71 years old, and being at an event in Utah, and the first thing that crosses his, hear me out, the first thing that crosses his mind when a random shooting of Charlie Kirk happens is to take the blame for it so that the real shooter could get away. So let's ask again the elephant in the room. Huh? What? Now that's what you call a really quick thinking 71-year-old man. I know what I'll do. I'll run around all the people and say, I the one that did it. And mind you, you don't look like the person in terms of one that would be eligible to think he'd do it. There was no weapon in your hand, no guns, nothing. You're just walking around saying that. Who? Okay, again, who does that? Conspiracy theory. He knew. He knew. He might have definitely known about it happening, or he wished for it to happen. And he kept hoping that it would. And he had this plan, if indeed it ever did kick off, that somebody, somewhere, somehow decided to take this chance and take out Charlie Kirk. Can you believe that one over? He knew about it, and this was his way of actually doing what he said to help the person get away. One of the officers said, I started to escort George, his name is George, to the patrol car that was back at the venue. He continued to state that he shot the individual and to just shoot him. Now, in a lot of ways, if you were to take the first approach that Mr. Zinn was indeed hoping that this would happen and seeing that somebody did it, he was going to make sure that that person got away because he's 71. What are they going to do? I've already lived my life. Maybe he was hoping if I say this out loud, their first reaction would be to draw their weapon, subdue me, and if I were to say it loud enough, they might actually end my life and they would never catch the actual killer. And if they never catch the actual killer, then we won. Charlie Kirk is gone and his real killer no longer there. That would be version 1. Or version 2 with the same idea. If I shout it and they do take me out and I knew about the shooter, now the shooter really gets away and this was the plan from the beginning. Or 3, he was just hoping against all odds that they would arrest him and delay it long enough, even if he didn't die, that they would take him to court, run him through the gamut as though he was, and still have him come up not guilty. Either way, in all 3 scenarios, the shooter gets away. So now we have to decipher which one would be the most logical. He didn't know the shooter, and he did it because he hated Charlie. He did know the shooter, and he did it because he hated Charlie. And 3, he didn't care about his own life at all, and he just wanted to be famous as the one that did Charlie, and eventually to be found not guilty and let go, and the shooter still got away. Which one do you think it was? Now remember, don't forget this man age, 71 years old. 71. He doesn't have much time left in his book, apparently, because I don't know any sane person that would just jump up and say, and me, I did it. And think to themselves, that makes sense. I think now I have done my due diligence and I have given the cops something to think about. Charlie wasn't some small character. He was a big name, well known, and he died in a very gruesome way. And for you to be nearby to say you did it, you would have to have some ulterior motives outside of just being old and wanting life to end. The conspiracy is that there were multiple people that knew. In fact, I had heard rumors that they had found a second person and they had arrested a second person and they're looking for a third person. In fact, they might be looking at the entire Discord group that he was a part of, Tyler, that is, to see if they all massively planned to have this go south for everybody involved, just to have the one shooter get away. We don't even know if Tyler's him. This could be one of those like the Joker situation in Batman, where everybody's wearing the Joker mask and you don't really know who the Joker is that set everything off. If that's the case, we might be looking at a very well orchestrated, very well planned, at least on the low side, domestic issue where they made sure that everybody would keep chasing tails. We may never find out exactly who or why, even though all the speculations exist. It's some foreign country, it's a local person, it's the left, it's the right. All of the distractions as to why, throw Mr. Zinn in the hat now and say, here's another one. Old man, nothing to lose, decide to say I did it. Or he knew and he was a prop to make sure that nobody looked at the person on the roof. Or both were props to make sure no one looked at somebody else. In either case, we would love to hear what your theory is about it. I think we are allowed to speculate, dramatize, try and figure out, because since we don't have the information, trying to figure out the information is partially what humans do. Maybe when we find out more from the FBI, CIA, and all them other three-letter agencies, we might be able to triangulate one answer. As of now, this man says that he was, and he wasn't. Maybe he was, and he really did it, and they just can't prove it yet, or he was a part of the whole charade, and now we're left with more questions than answers. Well, we look forward to finding out what you think of it. And I know many of you have your own speculations about what took place with Charlie. And like I said, you have the right to speculate since there are no answers out there. So we look forward to reading what you have to give us. Let us know your thoughts on Mr. Zinn, whether or not you think he was part of the process, he just happened to not like Charlie and did what he did, or he really did want his life to end and he saw this as an opportunity to seize it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think.